As we go. Okay, good morning, Jake.
Good morning.
Okay, so Jake, last that we left off, we had spent a lot of time talking about your mother and your father. Today, for the next 45 minutes or so, I want to focus on you.
Me?
Yes.
There's nothing there.
Oh, yes, there is. So, Jake, do you recall from the ages of 1 to 10, do you recall anything that was special in your life or anything that was difficult in your life?
I don't think so because we were raised just like the whole family. I mean, you were born and they took care of you.
So you never had any difficulties?
No, we never had it. That's one thing my folks they provided.
Was your family big on birthday parties? Do you remember any birthday parties? Or
It was a family thing. It's not like what you have birthdays over here. It's just they fix a meal you like, and we all
you get
get
to
together.
choose the meal?
Family.
so you get to choose the meal,
Yes.
and then all the family comes over.
The family, they stayed there.
Okay,
See, that family, the picture,
right here.
we had just one house
This
behind
picture.
it, and everybody stayed in that.
Wow. So everyone stayed right in the same.
Yeah.
So you had how many people here? That must be like 30, 40 people.
No, it looks that much.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
See,
7,
we are
8,
7 brothers, and there were about four were married,
So did everyone live right in the same house?
same house.
Really? That whole
The
family in the
house
house?
is behind it.
So it was a big house.
Yeah, no, you can see the house.
Okay. Oh, it's in the back.
Yeah.
And Jake, so you had a lot of cousins growing up.
Yeah.
So you guys always were playing.
Yeah. I mean, we had a big family.
And what I'm concentrating, from 1 to 10 years old. Did you guys play any games with cousins?
What do you mean by cousin?
Sport. Well, you all live together, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but this picture has a lot of kids.
Yeah, but you see, we lived, how do I describe? Okay, when my parents settled down in that area, they were, like my father was one, he had a brother, then there were 2 or 3 sisters, they all had houses
Right around you.
right in that, and we lived like a family.
So you all were one family. So like.
Yeah, not family, actually, I shouldn't say, because we had different business, different eating, and everything was separate.
But you were always together.
Different homes.
Yeah. But
close by.
so did you guys have one day a week where you had a family dinner?
No, it was an occasion, like if you had a birthday or something.
Okay. And did you play any sports when you were a child?
Yeah, the sports we played was a local sport, like marbles and
Marbles.
things like that.
So how does the marble game work?
Well, there are 2 or 3 different types of games. It's like you had one big marble, and then you try to get as close to that marble,
And you got points?
and you got points, or you can gamble and get money.
Did you guys play for money too?
Yeah.
And how old were you playing for money?
Uh, we didn't play that much for money. I mean, it was a give and take. I mean, penny ante,
More fun, more for fun.
well, more for fun.
And did you play any cricket?
Yeah, I played cricket.
You did. And so I don't know much about cricket. Can you explain to me a little bit about how cricket works?
Actually, cricket is, there is a bat,
Okay.
it's about 4 feet long and a 3 feet base
Looks like a
with
paddle.
a handle.
Does it look like a paddle?
Yeah, not a paddle, I mean, I can draw you. This was the handle,
Okay.
and this is where you hit the ball.
Okay.
That was,
Then you have a pitcher, right? You have a pitcher?
yes,
What do they call him?
pitcher.
They do call him pitcher.
Actually, in terms of cricket, it was bowler.
A bowler, okay. He's a bowler. And so he bowls the ball to you.
Yeah, and
Can
you
the
were
ball
the
hit
batsman.
Can the ball hit the floor?
No, you had this bat, and you were the batsman, and
Okay.
you hit that ball and tried to score the run.
So how do you score the run?
The ball goes to a distance, and there are 2 people playing. So you run in between the wickets.
Ah,
Each time you run, you got 1 run.
so it's similar to baseball.
It's yes and no.
Yes and no. And what position did you play?
I was a bowler.
You were a bowler, okay. And did you enjoy it?
That was the game.
Were you good at it?
No, it just everybody played, so you played.
So did you guys play after school?
Yes, they were school. All schools had these
Cricket.
games: hockey, tennis.
Hockey too.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
soccer.
A lot of
the
soccer,
football,
right?
But soccer.
Right. So
And all these hockey, The
which
one you
which
see
game
the-
was your favorite?
cricket.
And that's the one you were the best at as well?
Yeah, that's where I took interest.
So can you explain to us how different it was there, you growing up? Did you guys play other schools? Was it organized or was it just for fun at the school?
They were, it's the same thing as over here. If you were close enough, living in near the school, you went to the school, and if you were good, they encouraged you and made a team, which was a school team.
Interesting. And that team would play other teams, like here?
Yeah, they'd play other school team.
And would you become, so they kept the tally of who won who, and then you could become the champions?
Yes.
So it was very similar to what we have here.
Uh,
It was very similar to what we have
yeah,
here.
it's exactly the same. It's just a little bit different. Now, you have field hockey, which we had for a long time,
Right.
and we had soccer. You have started it now,
Right.
and we have cricket, you have a baseball.
Right. So was it optional? You had to pick a sport to play?
Yeah, it wasn't optional, whatever.
So
you
it
like.
wasn't mandatory.
they
Encourage you to.
to get out and play after school.
So do you think were you a good athlete?
No,
No? How about your brothers? Any of your brothers, were they good
no,
athletes?
they didn't even play.
So you were the only one that played. That's interesting.
Yeah,
And your sisters? No.
no.
It was not common for women to play sports, was it?
It was getting
Okay.
where women were getting education and schools and
So, that brings me to a question, Jake. You've seen the differences. So when you were growing up, women didn't have the same advantages that they do today, correct? And it's very different from the United States, no?
yes and no. It depends on the family.
Okay. Oh, really?
Because if you had the money and if you could afford to send the kid, see, every school, after school, they had compulsory games.
So if you had money, you could pay to have them play.
Not pay, it's that you came and took part in it.
So Jake, I'm focusing kind of in your early years, right? And I'm thinking to myself, you must have come from a family that was more upper class. Is that correct? Or they had money?
Yes, I should say that. I came from a family who was well off.
And can you kind of explain so that we understand what that means in India, the different classes and how that works?
Let me put it this way. The way Adam and Tammy I raised were exactly the same I was raised.
That's awesome. That's great.
Because I concentrated on their education. I made sure that they had sports also.
Mm-hmm.
Like over here, ski. I didn't know shit about skiing.
Right.
So I went talk to friends, all like you guys, and they suggested there are schools and that there are like Big Bear Lake where you can get a house or rent a house.
Right.
So I bought a house and I put them in schools, the skiing schools.
Right.
So both my kids are good at
Skiing.
sports.
Well, Adam was a good water polo
Yeah,
player too.
he ran also, and he was an athlete.
So you really pushed a similar upbringing.
I encouraged
Yeah. So
that if they wanted, actually the school system, when the kids were growing up, I think they were making more effort in getting the kids out to sports.
and so
What I remember.
right, Jake. So when you were growing up, you came from a wealthy family, and did that in India? Are there different classes where if you came from a wealthy family, you continue being a wealthy family? If you come from a poor family, you continue to be a poor family? How does that work?
No, you're getting it mixed up.
Okay.
See, we have religion and we have family.
Religion and family.
The when you get married and you have kids, you will make sure that you provide them with education you make sure that you train them to be successful at business or being a doctor, whatever.
Right.
The main thing is, it's actually the same as over here. But we attached more importance to family life than you guys do.
So family is very, very important.
Very important,
Number one.
number one. And then
So what I think what you're saying is the Indian culture attaches more values to family than they do money and everything else. Family's first.
it's the same.
It's the same. Money's also very important.
Yeah, very important. But the thing is, there is no IBM and no nothing like that. Very few. Big businesses.
Smaller companies.
Always is medium. And what happens, from my experience, is you are a family, and as you have kids and you concentrate on making life easy for the rest of the family, that they get the education, they get the proper food, they get the discipline, religion.
So does that provide you certain pressures as you grow up that you must do things to make sure you honor the family, or you must do better than the family?
No, you cheat.
You cheat.
Yeah, everybody cheats.
Okay.
So you try to satisfy the family. That means you lie.
Okay.
These are the
Sure.
facts.
Sure. What did you lie about?
That you're saying your prayers,
Okay.
you are behaving, you are not stealing.
So everybody sins, is what you're
Like,
saying.
for an example, like we had about 6 or 7 houses with 2 or 3 acres, and different relatives grew different things. Oranges,
Apples, whatever.
not apples, we didn't have apples, but fruits. And we made sure as kids that to go and steal those things.
You were having fun.
That was the life.
And you wouldn't get in any trouble for that.
Oh yeah, we got in trouble. And our parents had to pay for the fruit we
Took.
took.
What do you what is there anything specific that you remember about where you lived? Was it a big house? Was it a small house?
We had a very big house.
Does your family still own the house or not anymore?
My nephews owned the house.
Oh, so you can still go see the house.
Oh yes, that's the system created by my grandfather is still there.
To keep.
And people, kids who like there's got into the same business, stayed in the same house, they share the house.
So what kind of feelings do you get when you go there? Are they good feelings?
No, it used to be, but I think we are about Oh, I had more than 60% we live like what we live over here, or 70%. The old style is not there anymore.
Oh,
Because
the
the
way it really
progress-
used to be. Everything's gotten more
Yeah.
up to date.
Yeah, people go after like over here.
Right.
I mean, two friends go after the same job,
Right.
things like that. I mean, that's more common now.
So, are there any when you do go to India? Um, is there a sense that that's more you than the United States? That you feel more at home, you feel more.
Yeah, I always will feel, because that's,
So you get
Like-
excited when you go there.
uh, yes, because it just remind me of the growing up.
Right, right. And so it sounds like your growing up years were good years.
Very good.
So-
We were lucky.
So your mother and father really made it feel
Yes.
Excellent.
My parents worked hard, made it very comfortable for us.
So remember, I've been kind of focusing from 1 to 10 years old. Did you work during these times when you were?
No.
Never.
No, we were told to go to school, memorize all the religious functions, things like that.
So so when they told you, Jake, to memorize religious functions, what was the religion that you practiced?
Like I belong to the Muslim religion.
Okay, okay. And so do you still pray to this day or not so
I
much?
should, but I don't.
Okay, okay. And did you raise Tammy and Adam the same way or?
I tried.
You tried.
I gave them the basics.
Okay.
They know what Islam is from Christians,
Right, right.
and they are as mixed up as I am.
We're all mixed up, right?
Yeah.
And are there any? And I think we talked about this a little bit the last time, but I'll ask the question again because I like when I hear you talk about this because I think it's something important for us and for the grandkids to hear from you, which is, when you were, 1 to 10 years old, what early values did they teach you? They taught you religion, they taught you studying. Anything else that you could think of?
Well, actually, every parent, grandparents, wanted each one of us to be Einstein or,
Really? So they put a lot of pressure on you.
yes. The thing was, the two things that we understood the religion and education. Those two were very important.
So there was a lot of pressure to be successful, it sounds like.
Yes. We had to memorize, we had to do a lot of things. But
Do you remember how much studying you had to do?
I know how to avoid study. But yes, we were told to sit down with our older sisters would make sure that we could recite the prayers.
Right.
without looking into the book.
So can you tell me what your parents would say to you that would make you feel that you needed to be successful? Any stories your mom and dad used to tell you at dinner, or that really you still carry to this day?
No, I think I'll put it this way. They created the way of life in such a way that we knew that as we grow up, we'll have to do this and this and this. That was the duty of the parents and the people who raised us, that they watched us, that if we were falling behind or we were cheating or things like that, we were corrected that you can't do this, I mean, it's not good for you. They did the best they could, and we did the best not to do it.
Right. Did as we go into maybe 11 to 21 years old, I'd like to ask the same questions that I asked from 1 to 10, which are, is there anything you remember in particular during those times?
Now that 11 to 20 is very serious studies.
So you really had to study hard.
Yes, that because see the things you had over here, that you could go and get admission in any institute or something like. We did. If you didn't pass, you were thrown out.
So if you didn't study and you didn't pass, you couldn't keep going to school.
Yeah, you were in a big problem.
So what would that mean if you didn't?
Because you had promotion every year to advancement.
So you had to pass your classes.
Yeah.
And if you didn't, they kicked you out of school.
Yeah, they kicked you out.
And so what
or
happens
they
if
kept you in the same grade?
Didn't they kick your father out of school? Or you correct?
My father kicked himself out.
Okay. Now he came from a wealthy family as well?
He was a special deal. He was thinking like a 30-year-old when he was 12 years old.
Wow. But did he come from a wealthy family as well?
He came from a very well family. I mean, they had money, they had education,
Right.
but he had his own thinking, and this is where people start to break. And he thought he knew more than the teacher, so he fought with them. So he started working at the age of 12. Generally, they didn't.
Wow. So do you what education level did you finally finish at? What education level did you achieve? So you went through high school, college.
Yeah, I went through high school. I went through
College.
college.
What did you just 4 years of college?
No, generally I was. You have to go 2 years to college and then go into a technical school.
Okay.
You have to have the grades, you have to have things like that, so you can get admitted in.
And so you went to a technical school. And what is that? Another 2 years? Another 4 years?
4 years.
So you did a lot of school.
Yeah.
So 12 years plus 6.
Yeah.
So you had 18 years of school.
Yeah, it's about, when you're about 21, 20, that's, you're still in school.
Right. So it sounds to me that education is really important to you.
Very important. And that's,
All of us and your grandkids, can you explain to them why it's so important?
because that's how you progress. Otherwise, you will left behind.
In other words, what I hear you saying is, even after you've gotten all of your education, it's still a good idea to keep reading and furthering yourself.
Oh yeah, yeah. It just that how can I get the guy who is doing the same thing and get ahead of him. That's the philosophy you use. I mean, you see him, you greet him, and as if that you're the best friend, and you turn around and kick the ass because he is ahead of you.
And it sounds to me like, Jake, like the education plus the fact that your father was such an entrepreneur really gave you two advantages. One,
Yeah.
the education, one, the street smarts and the
Yeah.
people, knowing people and
Yeah, he was very broad-minded. Like I said, when at the age of 12, when he found out that he had to work, but then he was smart enough to figure out why the hell I have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and come over here. So he invented his own system, went over to all the laborers and said, okay, whatever you're getting, I'll give you 1 penny more. You work for me.
yeah.
So right from the beginning, he knew
Right.
how to take advantage of the system.
Right. So Jake, how old were you when you came to the United States?
Oh, about 25.
So after you were done with school and
Engineering.
you were done with your engineering and can you tell us the story of how it came about that you came to the United States?
Oh, just for further education.
So you were done with your education in India
Yeah,
and you wanted more education in the
more
United States.
education over here because we didn't have the facilities,
It wasn't as
the
good.
research, what you had over here.
And so your father was paying for your school when you were here as well?
Oh yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit of how that developed? How did you all of a sudden know you wanted to come here? Had any of your brothers and sisters come here? That's a big deal to move from.
No, you see, the, taking my family, the brothers and sisters got into the business because my father needed help. And my sisters got married at age of 15, 16.
Adam is here.
Is that
So age of 15, 16, they got married, but how did you, you're the only one that came to school in the United States, correct?
No,
No?
my brother who graduated as a doctor in Bombay came to England and did further studies. He got his master's in medical surgery.
Okay. So he was a doctor.
From Edinburgh.
So you and your brother were the only ones that got further education out of India.
No, all my nieces and all that.
No, but I'm talking your
everything
your immediate brothers and sisters.
yes, we were the two.
The two. And you came here when you were 25, around 25.
Yeah.
And what school did you attend?
here,
Yes.
Minnesota.
Minnesota. How did you? So can you kind of tell me how you ended up in Minnesota? That's kind of an interesting place.
Oh, one of my relative had a scholarship in Minnesota.
Okay.
He was a very brilliant student and he got scholarship, and he would always talk about how good was Minnesota. So
A little cold.
I had applied to 3 or 4 schools, and I had Florida. And I talked to him and some of the other family friends who have been all over the world. He said, well, if you want to play, go to Florida. If you want to study, go to Edinburgh. I mean, we used to get the education what we wanted.
So when you, I'm going to take you one back question, and I'm going to come back to this. Were you a very good student in high school and college?
I was a good student, not very good.
When you say a good student, what kind of grades?
I had second grade.
So A's and B's?
Yes, B mostly.
Mostly, okay.
I mean, I qualified for further education.
Okay. So when you qualified for further education, your parents, your father, your mother said
Yeah.
you should go get more education in the United States?
First you had to do the engineering, everything over there.
Right.
Then it starts.
Then you could do it.
Yeah.
So almost every time is like every year was almost like you had to pass to continue.
Yes, because there are a lot of students who had to go to work because the family could support them.
Right. So in other words, if you didn't get good grades and you didn't pass, then they would put you to work.
Yeah.
Especially as you got older.
Yes.
Because then you were now taking up space and you could help the family business.
Now the system which you had, the same system over here, when what I found out talking to people and all that, the father opened a shop or a repair shop, and it would always, the kid would come and join them. I mean, there's not much different.
Right.
It's just you were more advanced, we were not
Right.
that advanced.
But the thing that I find interesting, Jake, is that it sounds to me like the pressure of getting a further education really starts to separate people in India.
Yes,
Because here, for example, let's say you don't do well, you can always go back to school. Over there, it doesn't sound like it's like that.
yeah, I think probably Adam will be able to tell you something, how I treated him.
Right.
I treated him half Indian, half American.
Right. So you
I-
mix the two cultures.
Yeah, well, I think it was after high school or 1 year or 2 years in college. He came. There were 5 or 6 of his friends. They were going to Spain. And they had a job to teach Spanish people, Spaniards, English, and get paid and learn Spanish. And he came to me and said, I want to do that. I said, no. You finish your education, then go.
And that's the same thing your father would have said to you.
Yeah, mine was,
It wasn't an option.
there was no option. He had an option. So,
So that's a big difference in the
yeah,
cultures.
what happened, I got him to go to school, go to Stanford, get all the degrees and all that. One day I asked him, you had about 5 or 6 friends, where are they? They're all in Spain. Not one is educated, everybody got married and settled on.
Yeah. And the beautiful point to that, though, is that what interests me is that in your family, when you were growing up, that was not even an option. You knew you couldn't even ask that question.
Yeah.
So the interesting part now is that the question was asked, but it was almost like a lesson because you didn't let him do it. But now I'm sure he thanks you for not letting him do it. So
I don't know.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Because I, like Tammy, she wanted to be an architect, and we were fortunate in finding a friend who was working for USC, and he got her admitted there.
Good school.
I mean, and I tried to tell both my grandkids. The one is already in college, the other one, I said, look, there is nothing wrong in you and I hop on the plane and go to Stanford and see how far we can go.
Exactly.
Because you people don't know how to beg.
How to what?
Beg,
Beg?
yeah.
Okay.
But we are taught
To beg.
how to get to the bottom of it. If you want something real bad, you can get it both ways, either buy it or work for it.
Or work for it.
And
Never take no for an answer.
yeah, don't take a no for an answer. And you know,
Can you give me an example of you growing up when you wanted never to take no for an answer?
yeah, like Adam, when he graduated and he said, I said, go ahead and apply for further education at Stanford. And he said, oh, they won't take me. I said, there's no harm. It's about $50, $60. You go ahead and apply. 2 weeks later, he got admitted.
Yeah, that's because you learned not to take no for an answer.
If you don't try, you don't get anywhere.
So what degree did you get in Minnesota?
Master's.
Master's degree, okay. And you got a master's degree in what field?
Engineering.
And you were civil engineer, yeah?
Yeah.
Civil engineer. Master's degree, wow. You are quite the educated man.
Well, we see, education was everything to us. Advancement in India was through education.
How did education and everything you learned help you in business?
To tell you the truth, the education was a secondary to the religious education. As soon as you were 3 years old, you started saying, this is God, this is the disciple. You
Right.
started there. And then you developed it. And according the I have read lot of books about people in America and Europe and all that. You people were first educated in religion. You used to say your prayers, you used to say at home. And you advance through that, and then this, the priest and all, they were smarter than you guys. They opened a school, and then you.
Right.
So the thing is, education was the basic thing you did. I mean, if you went and you had to sign some papers, you said, oh, I'll put my mark X. Well,
You needed to know how to read.
yeah, you felt, you felt real bad that no education.
So how did you decide, and you know, how did you decide this is where you wanted to start your family, that you wanted to stay in the United States?
That I don't know.
Just happened.
Just got drunk probably.
Just got drunk?
Yeah. I'm being honest with you.
I love it. I love it. How about your parents? Did your parents want you to come back home?
My family, yes.
Did
They
your
still want me to come.
When you graduated here from Minnesota and you got your master's, did your parents come to your graduation?
No,
No.
no, it was it's too much of it.
Did you go back there?
Oh yes, I still go back. I mean, even the kids go back.
But did you go back there after graduation,
Yeah.
from when your master's?
Oh, yeah.
And then how did you decide you're going to come back?
Well, I had the job and I
Oh.
wanted to get the experience.
And was it hard to get your visa?
At that time, I had the visa for. I got my degree and I had the job, so I got the extension and visa for 2 more years.
And then how did you become a resident?
That's after you get married. I mean, that's.
Oh, okay. So you lived in Minnesota. Didn't you also live in Chicago?
No,
No, okay. Only Minnesota.
Minnesota and Los Angeles.
And where did you meet your wife?
Here.
Here you met her. Were you introduced or?
Yeah, I had a friend and he was going out with another nurse and she brought her and it's just one of those things.
One of those things. Well, you have a beautiful family, so it wasn't a bad thing, Jake. It was a very good thing.
No, I'm very pleased and it's very difficult for me to get through to Adam and Tammy.
Because they don't
Because
understand?
They are American, pure. And it's very difficult for them to understand.
Yeah, the culture's different.
Culture is different. But the more they got exposed with my family, going back to India 3-4 times, I think they understand much better now.
Well, if there's anything you should be proud of, though, is you have 2 beautiful kids. And the values that you speak of are very much what I know of them.
Yeah, see, I was brought up that you better yourself. I mean, your father was a a doctor, you become a double doctor.
Right,
The-
right,
the-
right, right,
the-
right. But I think, I think when I, because I spent a lot of time with Adam. Adam, I think is like that as well. He wants to further everything.
Yeah.
But I think
This
that
is-
comes from you.
Yeah, this is what I try to teach them.
Yeah.
I mean, like when he wanted to go around the world, I mean, Spain
Right.
and all that, I said, no. I said, you get your master's degree
Right.
and there will be a check, the ticket, you go
Right.
around the world. The day he got it, the day he got to travel.
That's great.
But I told him, I said, there are a lot of kids. They said, oh, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll do that. None of them do it. You finish what you are supposed to, then you go. I mean, they hated me for it, but
It was the right thing.
they're educated.
They're educated. Yeah. So it's interesting that I hear you talk, and one of the things that resonates with me is that I would love to tell my kids and your grandchildren is, family first, education first, religion first, and you have to balance all those.
Yeah. That's the way I was raised.
That's great. So, okay, well, for today we're finished. I will be back, and I want to focus on talking about how you built the business.
Huh?
Today we're going to be finished. Next time I come back next week, I want to focus on how you built this business, this incredible business you built.
Or like how I started the
Yes,
business?
yes. So we'll focus more on business. We'll focus on a little bit more on the family, the older years with the kids. But I also want you to think about things that, like this beautiful picture. When I finish the video, I want to do a little book for the grandkids. So we put the picture in. Anything you can think of that we can teach them about you and how you've done your remarkable life. Okay?
Well, you see, the main thing, we were taught right from the beginning, education, religion, and respect for elders.
Respect for your elders.
I mean, those are the basics you grow up on. I mean, you didn't just like some old man comes over here and says, you can use son of a bitch or something.
No.
That's a no-no.
Yeah.
We were told to respect elders.
That's a big deal.
Now that doesn't mean that that elder is a lot more, he probably doesn't know how to write his name, but he is your elder. He has something which you don't,
Right.
so you respect him.
Right. Okay.